What's up, legends? Happy midweek reversal day. We finally got the W formation. It is not where you're looking at on the screen. I'm going to go through exactly where the W formation came through, where the level 1 rise is, how we could have known to get in, also targets, where we're going next, and some news that we need to be aware of over the next coming days. So if you like good, honest TA that doesn't care if the market goes up or goes down, we just want to be on the right side of the trade, then be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and turn the bell notification to all so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Let's take a look at the markets before we deep dive into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and potentially some alts today. So on the daily, Bitcoin's looking good for a bounce here. Will it be a bounce that just retraces before further downside? We'll dive deeper into that, but so far it's looking like it's holding the 39.5 level really well. Ethereum also is holding above this previous resistance here. It has created a higher low compared to that, so that's looking positive. We'll take a look at that as well. Loving this USDT rejection here, rejection of the monthly resistance. That is very good for crypto right now. So good sign here, and also very good sign down here on the bottom right of this Dixie. This is what we needed. This Dixie charging up like this was the reason that crypto and other markets were just not doing well this week. So it's very good to see it pull back here. It's definitely a positive sign. S&P is looking very healthy. It's had a push up, coming back. As long as it creates a higher low, then it's in a good spot. And gold looks like it's breaking out as well. When gold breaks out, it means people are happy to invest. So this is generally looking good as well. All right, I know you don't care about that. I know you just want to know what happened with Bitcoin last night. So let's talk about it. Now, on yesterday's video, if you haven't watched it, definitely go back and watch it so that you understand where we are in this point in the market. On yesterday's video, I was very skeptical that this was the W. My reasons behind that is because a W, the second peak of the W, for my personal trade style, needs to be a higher low. And I've explained the psychology of that in my last two videos. So the fact that it didn't come back there meant we haven't trapped any short traders who went short down here. And if we're not trapping short traders, then we're not providing liquidity for the market maker. So I was very skeptical that this was going to be the W. However, I was prepared to be wrong. And what I said on yesterday's video was, because I'm skeptical of this W, I'm going to wait for a breakout and retest instead. If this were to continue up, that was going to be my condition, that we got the breakout and retest and then take the trade off the level 1 rise. Now, the whole time I didn't think it was a W. That's the point that we have to realize here. And it turns out it wasn't. The W was here, exactly how I actually like to see a W, where the second peak, as I just mentioned, creates a higher low. Once we got the real W, there was no need to wait for a breakout and retest. You should be able to identify it. What backs up the higher low, creating the W, is the volume spike in the small candle before the level 1 rise. So we're looking at this candle here. Now, if you look down at the volume here, it was very, very flat through this whole period here. It was very, very flat. And then when we got to this last candle, that's the volume spike. Now, in comparison to the breakout after, it doesn't look now like a volume spike, but that's because, of course, these candles came with higher volume, right? But this was the start of the volume push right here. See how low it was there? Then we had the volume push there. It's right on this little candle here. We can see it on the 1 hour. If I go down to the 30-minute, you can see it even more clearly. See that volume spike in comparison to all of these here? That one there, it's that candle there on the 30-minute. And then finally, if we go down to the 15-minute, it's even more obvious. Look at that volume spike there compared to here. This is why you should always be checking multiple time frames. I think it's a very big mistake in trading when people say, just stick to one time frame. I don't believe that. I think you should stick to one method and look for that method on all time frames, because it could be happening anywhere. This one here was an obvious breakout sign that this was the formation of the second peak of the W. So that right there was your entry. Now, where are we now and what are we doing? I'm going to stick on the 15-minute because to me it's very clear what's happening. I think that we are in the boardroom right now. So again, if you don't know what the boardroom is, I call consolidation period the boardroom because it's where the market maker is making his mind up as to where he wants to go next. Now, the boardroom can happen after level 1, level 2, or level 3 rise, and it doesn't have to happen in between all of them. So just be aware of that. If you took this breakout on level 1, you don't really want to be holding through consolidation, because he could just as easily make the decision after this board meeting to bring price back down. So you have to be aware of that. If you're just getting used to trading and just learning this system, you don't want to be holding through consolidation, because just because we've had a level 1 rise does not mean we're going to get a 2 and 3. And also the 2 and 3 may not push up higher. A level 2 and 3 rise can just go sideways. So it's not clever when learning the system to hold through consolidation. So number 1, if you got the breakout, I would be looking at taking profits. Number 2, why is this the boardroom? Because see how we've got these wicks to the upside here and we've got wicks to the downside here. The market maker is currently testing his position. He's sizing up his position. So he's inducing retail here to take longs, because don't forget, at one point before this candle closed, it looked like a very juicy green candle designed on purpose to make you think, well, we're going to keep going up. So there would be people who open long positions here that he's trapped right now. And so far, this is the only test to the downside. We may get more tests to the downside. So what I would be watching for today is that holding this consolidation period on the 15-minute time frame, start watching for tests to the downside and tests to the upside, especially as these EMAs start to flatten out here. It's just another reason why you don't want to be holding through consolidation. Pay yourself, take your profits, be happy, look for a new setup. That's the way to play the game. Now, usually within the space of a week, the market maker is going to make an effort to come for the weekly low and also the weekly high. So the current weekly high is at 42,742. There is a chance that we can consolidate here and then break out to the upside for a level 2 rise that might bring us closer to this weekly high. So be prepared for it, but just know that it's not a guarantee. However, at this point in time, we do look in a good position for it. What could potentially hurt us would be news. So we want to go and have a look at the Forex calendar. And first of all, on the Forex calendar, we can see what news did they use as the excuse to break price out yesterday. And so if we go back to yesterday and have a look, these are converted to Australian time. I apologize. I do know that 20% of my audience is in the US, so I apologize, but feel the pain of us Aussies who have had to convert times for the last decade with all YouTubers being from the US. So it's payback time. Anyway, yesterday, this here was potentially the news that caused the breakout. To me, it doesn't matter what the news is. You tell me there's news, I'll show you on the chart what the reaction was. So now we want to have a look at what could potentially hurt us today. And so I'm looking at, I really only care about US kind of news. And I'm looking down here at these retail sales that are due to come out 10:30 p.m. Australian time, Melbourne Australian time tonight. So again, when there is news, especially when it comes with a red folder, the red folder means it's a high impact on the market is expected. So when there's news, if you're in consolidation, it is a risk to try and hold through it. So be very prepared that if whatever comes out is bad news, we're going to see it on the chart. It may bring price back down. If it's good news, it may give us that spike up. Now, another thing that could happen, however, is if we break this consolidation, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's over for the upside, because all we have here is a W breakout. Now, the W can come back for a retest. So price here can come back all the way down to here and then break out for the next level 2 rise. That is a possibility. As long as price stays above this area here, then the W formation is still valid. So what I'd be looking for today is, if we stay in the boardroom, look for those spikes to the upside and spikes to the downside, preferably on a lower time frame, and see if you can get a hint of which way the market maker wants to push out from consolidation. If we start to come back down, then start looking for a higher low to be created. Wherever it's created, it's irrelevant. As long as it's higher than this, then that could be your entry before the next level 2 rise. Again, when that happens and you get that higher low here, it has to be backed up by volume. So look for it on all time frames. Let's take a quick look at the heat maps to see if we can see any low buy orders coming in already that are getting us ready for a pullback. Not really. Currently, we've got 40,850 as the low. Above price, we do have quite a few levels trying to short. Now that makes perfect sense because we have pushed up. We've got that 810 there at 41,700, and we do have a couple below that, but let's just say 41,700 is the level to watch for a pullback, and then hopefully the target of that pullback is 40,850. And that's what we're looking at on the chart. So again, if we come up and tag these, that may lead to more of these tests to the upside that we now know is just testing the upside in the boardroom. And so far the buys are sitting below this level here. So it doesn't look like at this point in time that they want price to come lower than this consolidation. So you'd be looking for a breakout trade of this consolidation if it stays there, probably tonight at the UK session, 5 p.m. Melbourne time, or maybe US session a little bit later. We may just consolidate. Asia, which opens in half an hour from the time that I'm filming this, Asia usually holds the line. So we may just consolidate for the rest of today, and then we may get these spikes when the US session starts. Let's take a look at some alts. Okay, Ethereum is looking great. Ethereum's W yesterday looked much better than the first Bitcoin W, and it kind of gave us a triple W. So this W here, I would say for my personal trade style, was a valid W, and I did take an entry here. It was lacking the volume, but I did like the separation between this low and this low. It was a risky trade to take, but fortunately it played out. But again, the real W that was backed up by volume was here. The market maker got tricky with us yesterday, let us believe there was a W happening and it wasn't really happening, and then he gave us the real W. So, don't get tricked by things like that. If it doesn't come with volume, it's not the market maker making the move. So now Ethereum's still on a rise. What you'd be waiting for on Ethereum, I think we need a lower time frame. Currently we're in the boardroom. We may break out here. We've got 3 hits to the upside on the 15-minute time frame, and this candle looks like it wants to break through. So Ethereum might keep going from here, but at the end of the day, there's no entry unless we go into consolidation for a period of time and then you get a breakout for the level 2 rise, or we come back and create a new higher low after this W, and as long as we create the higher low and then get new volume in there, there's an entry. XRP was another one that I was looking at last night, and it gave us many fake out of this W break. In the end, what it created was somewhat of a ascending triangle. So this is not too bad. However, this area here is not really doing anything that it should do after a breakout of resistance. So I actually think this whole area now becomes just an area of interest. And what that means is we want to see something exciting happen here. Now, one possibility is we reject. If we reject this and we come down here and create another higher low, that's where I personally usually take an entry when I see an ascending triangle after we've had 1, 2, 3 touches to the resistance line of the ascending triangle. If we don't do a full rejection there and instead we get a higher low, that usually signals to me that the 4th attempt will break out. So if we come back and we get a higher low here, there could be an entry for XRP to break out of that resistance today. If Bitcoin goes into the boardroom and just stays sideways in consolidation, it's going to give the altcoin some room to move. So this might be a possibility. If Bitcoin pulls back, it's going to cause the alts to also pull back, so that might give us the lower high entry, but it just has to turn around with volume after the pullback in order for us to think that we're going to take another push to the upside. So just don't forget, if you zoom out and you look wide, there still is a possibility that we turn around from here. Again, zooming out wide on Bitcoin, we are still in a daily time frame bear flag. Now the good news is that we are at the bottom of the channel here, so a reversal to push up is good, but what we need to watch now on the higher time frames with Bitcoin, let me make that bigger, what we need to watch for now is again this center line here now. So whilst we're pushing out and the smaller time frames are looking very good and very bullish, if Bitcoin continues up from here, we still have this center line issue. It doesn't mean that we're going to the top of this channel. We could very easily here, because we are in a bear flag, come up, test the center, and then that's our hint that we're actually going to break down much further. So we're not safe until Bitcoin gets and holds above the 46 44,500 kind of level. So whilst there are smaller time frame long, just be prepared for rejection if it does continue at around the 44k level. Matic is another one that I've got my eye on because we do have this triangle formation at the bottom of a downtrend. Again, was also waiting for the W on this, but I wanted it to break this area here, and this whole area was going to be my area of interest. An area of interest for me is where I want the retest. So I want price to break out beyond the area of interest, come back for a retest anywhere within it, doesn't matter to me, then take a long out of that area there. However, again, we may just go into consolidation during Asian session. We may not get any action on this till potentially tonight, UK session, or even a bit later tonight during the US session. So just watching Matic is one of the other alts that I'm watching today. Let's take a quick look at high block and see how we're looking leverage wise. Now, don't forget, whilst we are watching this, if you're enjoying this content, please hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and also hit the subscribe and turn the bell notification to all so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. I do upload videos 3 days a week on the 3 days that I trade. Sorry if you can hear my little puppy's footprints in the background there. He is dying for some attention. Now, let's have a look at this. So all of this leverage got flushed out on the move up. We talked about this yesterday. Again, if you haven't watched my previous videos, go back because you can see the difference in how the leverage is the key indicator for when the market is going to change direction. Currently, there is nothing here to give us any idea. Leverage needs to build up one way or the other, but in last night's push, we flushed out a lot of that short leverage. Looking where price can go to above where we are now at the bigger levels, I'm going to switch this down to tier 5 so we can see it clearer. So this level back here, this big circle, 181 million worth of shorts at 25x at 41.7 is a key level to watch out for. And that 41.7, I'm pretty certain, is where those short orders are that we marked on the chart. I'll double check that in a second. These ones up here are not that big, so time will tell if the market maker is going to come for all of that leverage. We do have other bigger levels over here at 42.8 and then 43.4, but I don't really want to get ahead of ourselves and think we're going to these levels. This is the key level for now to watch, is this 41.7. If we do push up, that's the level to watch. You can see here now with the big circles below that we have the longs starting to build that will eventually create the liquidity for the market maker to send price back down. So we are certainly not out of the woods yet, and we need to be very careful. Now let's double check this level here on the chart of 41.7, and there it is right there. So that's the 41.7. That's exactly where we marked out the trading light heat map shorts that are currently building there. So again, this just adds to my reasoning. If you did take this long and it is currently open, I would be very hesitant to keep it open through this consolidation period at the 41.7, or if we break through it, because don't forget those heat map orders can disappear before price gets there. If we break through it, then we're looking for rejection up at the current weekly high at 42.7, or if this rejection at this level is not harsh, then we'd be looking for a pullback to take a long to the next level. I hope that was helpful, guys. This is my last update of the week. Don't forget, if you don't take profits today and you hold on to it and it turns out in your favor, take profits Friday. Take profits Friday. Don't hold your trades through a weekend. It is a weekend trap. Enjoy your weekends. Live your life. That's the point of trading, not to spend 24/7 on charts. Have the most amazing day. Have the most amazing weekend, and I will see you next week.